When I was younger, I believed that love was the most important feeling in the world. Love for family, love for friends, love for dreams, and love from others. And while love is undoubtedly one of life's greatest gifts, with time I discovered there is something far more foundational, far more crucial to our well-being, and far more grounding than love from the world around us. That something is self-respect. Self-respect isn't loud. It's not something we can post on social media. It's not always easy to recognize. In fact, it often shows up quietly. It shows up when you say no, even when everyone expects you to say yes. It shows up when you choose to walk away from something that doesn't honor who you are, a relationship, a job, a conversation. And most powerfully, it shows up when you decide in your own quiet way that your worth is not negotiable. There was a time in my life when I believed that being strong meant being silent, that being dignified meant enduring, that being graceful meant not reacting. But the truth is, self-respect has nothing to do with silence or endurance or grace. That comes at the cost of your own soul. Self-respect is the ability to see yourself clearly, to know yourself intimately, and to stand up for yourself unapologetically, even when it's uncomfortable. I've often been asked what it means to be confident. And my answer has evolved over the years. Confidence is not walking into a room and believing you are better than everyone else. Confidence is walking into a room and not needing to compare yourself to anyone at all. That kind of self-assurance comes from self-respect, from owning the journey you've taken to become who you are, from owning your scars, from knowing that your story matters, even if no one claps for it, even if no one validates it, even if no one understands it. There is something so powerful about saying to yourself, I matter, my feelings matter, my boundaries matter. And yet for so many of us, especially women, we're taught that putting ourselves first is selfish, that choosing peace over people-pleasing is arrogant, that walking away is weakness. But the truth is, there is nothing more powerful than choosing yourself in a world that constantly tries to define your worth for you. I want to say this to anyone who has ever felt small in a room full of loud voices, to anyone who has questioned their own value because someone else couldn't see it, to anyone who has given too many chances, stayed too long, or dimmed their own light for the comfort of others. Your self-respect is not a luxury, it's a necessity. When I struggled with my mental health, I realized just how fragile our inner world can be when it's constantly being shaped by outer expectations. I had to rebuild my relationship with myself from the ground up. I had to learn to be kind to myself, not just when I was performing well, but especially when I was not. I had to learn to forgive myself for moments I wasn't proud of. And I had to learn to draw the line, not with anger, but with clarity. The line that's what self-respect does. It brings clarity. Clarity about who you are, about what you will allow and what you will no longer tolerate. It becomes the quiet compass that guides your decisions, your relationships, your sense of self. And it's not a destination, it's a practice. Some days you will wake up feeling strong and certain, and on others, doubt may creep in. That's okay. To not collapse into spaces that shrink you, to not overextend yourself in the hope of being seen or loved, to not betray your own truth just to keep the peace. And sometimes that means losing people. Sometimes that means walking alone for a while. But the peace that comes from staying true to yourself, that peace is worth every loss. That peace is the foundation on which everything else in your life can be built. There's a certain beauty in becoming the person who no longer seeks approval, but instead seeks alignment with your values, your purpose, your truth. That's what self-respect gives you. It helps you align your outer life with your inner knowing. You begin to speak differently. You begin to choose differently. You start surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, not just because it feels good, but because you now understand that your energy is sacred, that your time is finite, that your heart deserves care. And in this process, you also begin to respect others more deeply, because self-respect is not selfish. It doesn't create arrogance. It creates empathy. It allows you to honor others' boundaries because you've learned to honor your own. It teaches you that dignity is not about superiority. It's about integrity. I don't know what battles you're fighting right now. I don't know what part of yourself you're struggling to accept. But I do know this: you are allowed to be proud of how far you've come. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that were rooted in survival. You are allowed to evolve, and you are allowed to protect the version of you that is still healing. That protection, that fierce, loving protection, is self-respect. It may not always be easy, it may be misunderstood, but it will never lead you astray. You are more than the roles you play, more than the expectations placed on you, more than the mistakes you've made. You are a whole, complex, evolving human being, worthy of love, yes, but more importantly, worthy of your own respect. So the next time you find yourself questioning your worth, I want you to remember this: you do not have to prove your value to anyone. You do not have to shrink to fit into someone else's version of who you should be. You were not born to be pleasing. You were born to be powerful. And your power begins the moment you decide that your soul, your truth, your peace are non-negotiable. That is the power of self-respect. It is quiet, it is unwavering, and it is yours. Thank you.